Um, do
Can you
you?
hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I want to ask you something. Do you remember? I guess in the '80s and the '90s, there's a few of these movies about cops, police, right? Where there's a main character. Whether I can't remember if they did this with Bruce Willis or maybe Mel Gibson in what is it, Lethal Weapon, where in the beginning of the movie they show like there's this basically the scene where it's like it has nothing to do with the main plot of the movie. It's just to show you the MO of the cop, how he basically uh, destroys everything in the process of getting the bad guy. He like destroys, I don't know, buildings and an entire city block. So, you know, after that happens, he's back at the station, and then the captain lays into him. He closes the door, and you just hear the captain yelling at him.
This is like every '80s cop movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I did this. I did this to Hashem today. I did this to Hashem. I said, you destroyed, in the process of exacting your little tikkun game, you stepped on my head while I was drowning, and you kicked me while I was down. You're the one that caused me to be down on the ground, for no reason. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I used an example of, like, I came back to, left Israel to marry a woman and to try to do pruvu, which is a mitzvah you want me to do, to get married, kedushin and pruvu, and you ruined it. Like, I didn't ruin it, you ruined it. Like, Hashem ruined it. And then after he ruined it, he proceeded to kick me while I'm down and step on my head while I'm drowning. And after I told Hashem all of that, I mean, there was a whole, diatribe that I went into, both in English and in Russian. I said, okay. You know what I said? Get a load of this. I said, okay, Hashem, I'll play your little game.
Hold on.
Yeah.
My wife decides to chop right
Yeah.
at the crescendo of your story.
Yeah. Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Hon, can you just give me one moment? I'm gonna put this away, and then I'm gonna go to another place, and you can chop away. Just for a moment. Sorry, man.
Yeah. So I said
and on top of everything, he won't even let you tell your story.
That's right.
Without chopping.
Exactly. He doesn't even want me to. It's a story about how I'm gonna appease him. He doesn't even want me to appease him. That's how horrible this all is.
Okay, hold on.
So I said, Hashem, how about this? How about this, wise guy? I said, you listening? Listen hard. Listen good.
I'm here, man. I'm here.
I said, the next girl that somebody tries to set me up with, right? No matter what she looks like, I'm going to agree to go on a date with her. Like, I'm going to go on a date with her. I'm going to say yes. I'm not even going to ask what she's about. I'm not going to ask who, this, what. I'm not going to ask anything. I'm just going to go on a date with her. Right? And what's going to happen is, through no fault of my own, because I'm not going to do this deliberately, it's going to probably happen naturally, this girl is going to probably be able to tell that I'm not into her. Right? And so she's going to tell that I'm not into her, and which is probably going to make her feel a little bit embarrassed inside, if she's a normal person, human being at all, right? It's probably going to make me feel a little bit, I don't know if say embarrassed, but again, kind of just like, I'm just kind of there on the date that I don't really want to be on, and people are, like, if you go on a date to one of these kosher places, people can, people look, because they're nosy like that, Jews. And they're going to be able to tell that I'm not, that this is like a guy and a girl on a date where the guy is not into it, and the girl's super embarrassed, right? Yeah. And I'm going to be, whatever, feel the way I'm going to feel, and people are going to have their whatever reaction inside that they're going to have. Not that I don't really care, I'm just saying, this is what's going to happen. And I told this to Hashem. I said, Hashem, if you're okay with this, which seemingly you are, judging by the fact, otherwise you wouldn't even have these people set me up with these girls, unless you're just doing it for, you have like a insatiable sense of humor and you're like the greatest prankster on earth for your own entertainment, and you're just not, and there's nothing that can entertain you, and you need a constant infinite flow of entertainment, which is seemingly that's the case here, because otherwise how else can you explain what we see in front of us?
See, right. First of all, you said seemingly, and how can we explain?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't. And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
not seemingly, but it's what it looks like.
Yeah. No, if it was like a person, it would just be like, you'd be like, this guy is like a frat boy who's just, pardon my language, he's just fucking around. He has nothing to do. He doesn't get enough laughs. And clearly he has a deficiency of comedy in his life, so he just has to keep creating fuckery. Pardon my language. I apologize.
Well, we were reading yesterday
a
couple of quotes that said, my thoughts are not like your thoughts. I am not a man. He's basically telling us, I'm not a frat boy.
Yeah, but like...
It looks... The reason he said that was because it's going to seem to you, based on the way things are going to appear to you from your perspective down there, that it's going to seem like it's a cruel frat boy, or whatever, is because you won't be able to imagine how anybody that's not evil can do stuff like this, and whatever. However, I'm here to tell you that my thoughts are beyond your thoughts, and I am not a man.
That's wonderful.
Right, I'm just saying that.
Okay.
He's not a frat boy.
Okay. So there has to be a reason why I will be. Because I said I was going to do this. I made a nader today. I will be wasting precious time in my car. I will be wasting. When I say wasting, I really mean wasting, throwing in the garbage money, both on tolls and gas, and the money I'm going to spend on even if it's like a coffee, right? It's just going to be, you want to say Bittles Man? There you go. And then I'm going to come back from the date, and the person who set me up is going to say, no. I'm going to say, I don't know if I'm into her. And you know what he's going to say? Come on, give it a second date. You can never be sure of the first date. You know how many people I know got married? If they only went by the first date, they would have never married the person they're married to. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one.
Greg, can I tell you something? I just want to tell you something. Oh, wait, do you have more, or can I comment?
That's all I got. It's as simple as that. Okay.
I wasn't saying it in a douchey way like I normally do. I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut you off too soon.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, the only thing that I can think of, if I wanted to, launch an assault against God, would be to complain about the absurd complexity of the system which he created.
Yeah.
And
I did that today too, by the way. I did that today.
The fact that he maintains it. That's the only complaint.
I did that today as well.
Right. So, and also, so basically, the other complaint, my normal complaint is, why should I participate in the system when it's when I have so little perspective as to why no offense, but how do I benefit? What's
in it for us?
Right.
There has to be something in it for us, man. There has to be at least one thing.
Right. and so hold on. This is a complex Easter egg. Let's put it that way. Not an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Easter egg is like a hidden little thing, right?
Yeah.
That's like hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Use the wrong term.
Okay.
For many reasons. Okay. Mm-hmm. But basically, so you have this system that he created, Okay? And we don't understand, most of us don't understand, like, what's in it for us, right? And then you're going to hear the following. The only reason why we're saying what we're saying, right? Anybody who says what's in it for me is because they are not consciously connected to their neshama. Okay? Connecting to your neshama automatically puts you in a state of mind where you don't care about what's in it for me at all. You don't care about you at all, period. All you care about is about being useful to God. Something about connecting to your neshama has that effect on a person. So the attempts, what most mystics or religious or pious people do is, and you'll hear Manis Friedman say this, not just him, everybody, you have to try to make contact with your neshama. Okay? And that is what changes your perspective on the world. In the sense that it's not necessarily going to whisper secret information to you, even though there is a concept called the Magid, right?
Yeah.
You know, and Bar Tzadok talks about it all the time. And there's a book called Magid Me'asharim that was written by Yosef Karo, Rav Yosef Karo, who wrote the Shulchan Aruch.
Yeah.
And he was discussing how he had made contact with his Magid, who would advise him and be like a tour guide in a sense of the supernal realms. And who's the Magid? It's your own soul, your neshama. Okay, so making contact with your neshama in different ways. I guess there's like a spectrum as to how much or how little, but even on probably on the smallest level, that has the effect where it basically removes you from the mindset of what's in it for me or why should I care, to not caring at all about me or my cares, but just this, it only feels good to serve God.
Okay.
There's no other reason. And also it somehow overlaps with the realm of consciousness, which contains these thoughts.
I have a question on that though. If we're here to serve God,
I need 15 more seconds.
Okay.
And so this contacting the neshama has something to do with having this idea of, I don't need any of this in this world. Like maybe it causes you to remember that you didn't want to come here in the first place. This place looks like the Bowery, you know, all the people who are fighting each other for a little bit of prestige look like toothless bums fighting over half a rotten candy bar. Everything, the whole world looks like a half a rotten candy bar from that perspective.
Yeah, I can tell.
So you get to that, you know, like, I don't need this, God. Like, I don't need to eat. You need me. You need me to be this needy. Yeah. This is what your setup. This is my hunger. That's your problem. Yeah. You need me to feel this. Yeah. Like so by apparently making contact with your neshama automatically sucks you, us, anybody out of the mindset that we're talking about right now, that we feel. So
here's my question. Even based on that, we still gotta do the mitzvah of, you know, pruvu and kiddushin, and in order to do that, we have to, first of all, we have to want to just do that. I'm not even talking about getting what we want and, you know, finding the love in this and whatever, blah blah blah. We have to want to just do that. But even in the process,
you have to try to do it.
Even in the process of trying and wanting to do that, it does help that if there's, meaning it's only a positive for Hashem. Not even to do with me. It's only a positive for Hashem that I be attracted to the woman that I'm with, because, not to say that I probably could have kids with a woman I'm not attracted to. It's just gonna be bad for all involved, including Hashem. It really will.
I'm gonna explain. I think I have.
You understand you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Okay, so I get it. What you're saying makes sense, but God doesn't make sense. So listen, it's very clandestine. Everything that we're doing here, people can't get used to this idea, but what we're doing here, it's more like Twin Peaks.
Big time. Oh, big time.
So And here's what I mean.
So Hashem is David Lynch?
No. What I mean is like there's a bunch of weird esoteric things going on,
yeah,
right? And people acting strangely.
That's
things
hilarious.
don't make sense.
That's really funny, bro.
Right? However, there's a higher reality that we're not familiar with, and nobody and whoever's writing Twin Peaks is not bothering to share the meaning and the symbolism of
so he's David Lynch. So he's David Lynch. Basically, he's David Lynch.
No,
Hashem is David Lynch.
Dude, I think I'm in trouble enough. I don't know if you need to, to push me at the beat. Well, let's do it. You want to, like,
or David Lynch, David Lynch is emulating Hashem, if anything.
I think that perhaps, right? He, on a certain extent, whether it's conscious or unconscious, he whatever.
Dude, that is probably the most incredible analogy I've heard anybody make about this world and who's running it. That is.
And I'm gonna explain. But hold on. But see.
Wow. What about Mulholland
Lynch,
Drive?
Well, hold on. David. Oh yeah. Okay. David Lynch might be wacky, just in general. Mm-hmm. So, according to the Torah, God is not wacky. Okay. So basically, if you let me create a scenario for you. I hope this works. Mm-hmm. In like spy novels and stories, right? You'd have situations where you'd have an agent implanted in a certain environment that you need to infiltrate. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. and nobody in intelligent circles knows more than they need to know for various reasons. Yeah. Okay? So that if you don't know, you can't tell if they try to torture you or whatever, right? Yeah. But everybody has its compartmentalized context, and they have their instructions. And the instructions are this. Imagine, we're planted somewhere, and then your instructions are on the second Tuesday of the month, you have to go and buy the paper at this particular location. In the paper, in the newspaper, you're going to find the classifieds, the personals. You're going to be looking for a personal that starts with BB.
BB?
BB. The letters B, and you're going to see the little section of the personal, and the first two letters you're going to see is BB. And then once you see that, you're going to look at every seventh letter. Okay, and then the seventh of the seventh letters, if it's an F, these are your instructions. And that's all you know. Meaning, if you see that F, you got to go and, steal the microfilm, or you got to go and, assassinate the, I don't know.
Whatever.
The clerk in the grocery store for whatever reason. We don't know who the clerk is. Yeah. We don't know nothing. We just know we have these instructions, and we got these weird circumstances in which we have to interpret them. Yeah. No other information is offered. This situation is real, by the way. Yeah. Okay? So, in a certain sense, that's what most of us are like. We are just like these agents that were planted here. We have no idea what's going on. Yeah. We agreed to it in heaven before we got sent here. Yeah. Okay? And it has something to do with that. Why is this necessary? It has something to do with outsmarting the Sitra Achra. Yeah. So my complaint is, fine, all that's understandable if God was, concerned about the Sitra Achra, or he had to outsmart it because he had no other choice. Yeah. But God has all the choices. He controls everything, right? Yeah. So this whole scenario that he set up is it doesn't make sense why it had to be this way. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. But so how do people much smarter than me deal with this question? I've only heard one person ever deal with this question. Doesn't mean he's the only one. I heard the Alter Rebbe deal with this question. And he said, because they were discussing some kind of event that was absolutely incomprehensible in its horror. And, so got the discussion going with him and I guess maybe one of his friends or some of his students or so I believe he answered, and if somebody listening to this can correct me, please do. He answered that it must be necessary, because you could say, if I was God, I wouldn't do this. But I say the opposite. If I was God, I would do this. Because God can't do something that is
pointless,
incorrect.
Yeah.
It must be that when you're God, then you would do this, because you would see that this is what needs to be done because you're God. You say it's like it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call that a satisfying answer at all. But there's something there that at least is a fair thought. That's what I would say. It's a fair thought. It's not a comforting thought, though. Okay? Yeah. Not everything that we learn is meant to make... Most of what we learn is not meant to make us feel better. Okay? These conversations we're having is not about feeling better at all.
Of course not.
Okay? It's the opposite most of the time. By the way, on a side note, I read in the Jerusalem Stone of Consciousness, Rabbi Bakst's book. I don't know if you read it, but he's saying that one of the meditations that he recommends is that when you communicate with God, right, and you are spilling out your soul and your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, whether they are positive and full of love and gratitude, or they are full of anger and complaint, and complaining, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of which way you're going with that, it should be focused
towards
take those images
Yerushalayim,
and focus them on the dome on the rock foundation stone.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And place them on top of the foundation stone. The suffering child.
Yeah.
Put that child on top of that foundation stone. The injustice that you've experienced, and the sadness and everything, all of us, right? Just put that on top of that foundation stone, and the weight of it will crack it and release the Mayim Chaim.
Yeah.
And he's quite literal about that.
Yeah. I remember reading about that.
That's just side.
Same thing with Amidah, when he says when you're doing the Amidah and Shemona Esrei, do the same thing. I mean, focus energy on that point.
Yeah.
That's his whole shtick, basically. Not shtick, but that's the whole idea.
No, that's his whole idea, because that's his idea. I'm sure it's not his idea alone, but
it's the idea that he wrote about it. That he wrote about.
That he wrote about, which is that the Earth is likened to, let's say, like a big one of us, right? It's like a representation of the person, and the foundation stone, the evin shetiya, is the pineal gland.
Yeah.
And we have our own pineal gland. So by activating our pineal gland and projecting it to the Earth's pineal gland, you can cause the Moshiach to come, the Oragonos, which is synonymous, I believe, with the Mayim Chaim.
Yeah.
Right? Which will flow from the foundation stone, but the foundation stone needs to be smashed.
Yeah.
But not smashed with a bulldozer, smashed with our projections.
Yeah.
Like, from a higher dimension.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.